Hi, welcome to Writings and Lessons. I'm Brenda and I teach piano using the number system. Today we're going to talk about augmented chords. I'm going to introduce you to them and also show you how they're documented in the number system. Augmented chords aren't as common as minor chords or diminished chords, but they do add interest to music and lead your ears to the chord that comes after the augmented chord. So I want you to know how to play them and how they're documented. If you like this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. It really helps to promote the channel so that more people can have an opportunity to see writings and lessons and possibly learn to play piano. So let's get started talking about augmented chords. In lesson 1, I introduced the major chords. So a major 1 chord is spelled C, E, G. And an augmented chord takes the 5th note of the scale, which is part of the chord, and goes up a half step. And so that's an augmented chord. And I know it sounds different, but it really does add some interest to a lot of songs. So again, you've got, I'm playing a C chord, a 1 chord, and you take this 3rd note in the chord or the 5th note in the scale and you go up a half step, and the chord is spelled C, E, G sharp, and that is an augmented chord. So if we're playing a 4 chord, if you're playing F major, you would take the 3rd note in the chord and go up, and that's an augmented chord. A 5 chord, which is G. To play a G augmented, you would take the 3rd note in the chord, go up a half step. This is the chart we're going to play for Amazing Grace today. And the plus sign is how the number system documents augmented chords. So it's in 3/4 time. And as I've taught in multiple lessons in the past, each bar in this arrangement has 1 chord. The 1/3 was taught in a previous lesson, and that just means the top number is your 1 chord. The bottom number is the bass line, and so your left hand's playing the 3 note. And so you're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're on the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to the 5 chord. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to play a 5 augmented. So as I taught earlier, this note goes up a half step. 1, 2, 3. Then you come down to your 1 chord. So again, if we start here, we're going to play 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, going to the 5 chord. 1, 2, 3, 5 augmented, 2, 3, and then you're going to come down here and finish out the song. So the augmented chord leads your ears to the next chord that you're playing. We're going to play Amazing Grace now with my daughter singing the vocal, and I am using a free app on my phone, a metronome. It's in 3/4 time, and I've set the tempo at 70. 1, 2, 3.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
This is the arrangement that I've written for Let Me Call You Sweetheart, and I purposely added more augmented chords than I probably would normally if I was writing an arrangement for it, just because I want you to have practice playing augmented chords. So there are 3 augmented chords in this arrangement, and there's also some diminished chords. The chords with the little circles, the 1 sharp diminished, the 4 sharp diminished, those were introduced in a previous lesson. And so you may want to go back and review the lesson. I think there were 2 lessons on diminished chords, just to refresh your memory. This song is also in 3/4, like Amazing Grace, and there's 1 chord for each measure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, etc. So the 1 diminished is played like this. So 1, whoops. So here's how we're just going to play through it now without the metronome or vocal. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So now we're going to play the augmented chord. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now we're going to the second line. We're going to 5s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 5 augmented. 1, 2, 3. Now we're playing a 1 chord. 1, 2, 3. A 1 sharp diminished. All you're doing is you're playing a 1 chord and you're moving your thumb up and you're moving your left hand up. So here's your 1 chord, and you're moving, these 2 notes stay the same, and you're just moving the C note, you're moving this note up a half step, and you're moving your left hand. Again, this was explained, the theory behind diminished chords was explained in a previous lesson. So let's start at the beginning of this line. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 5 augmented. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1 augmented. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the 2 is major, and that was also taught in a previous lesson. So normally our 2s look like this, but if there's not a dash, that means it's major. So the 2 is major, and it's played D, F sharp, A. Going back to this 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Last line. 1, 2, 3, 4 sharp diminished. The same concept applies that we talked about earlier. So you move the thumb and you move the F up. These 2 notes stay the same, and you just move the thumb, you just move up a half step. Starting here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 6 is major, so that's spelled A, C sharp, E. Let's start at the beginning of this last line. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 major, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. we're gonna play this with the vocal now, and so I have the metronome set at 3/4 and the tempo at 72. 1, 2, 3.
Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you. Let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep the love light glowing in your eyes, so let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you.
So now you have two arrangements with augmented chords. I know there's a lot of arrangements with Amazing Grace, but I like to start with a song that you're familiar with, that you've played before, and just add whatever we're learning for that day. And so that's why I've used Amazing Grace so much. Also, Let Me Call You Sweetheart. It's a more complicated song to play, but you can play it. You may want to go back and review a previous lesson where I introduced diminished chords, and Let Me Call You Sweetheart was the chart that we played that day. If you've enjoyed these lessons and want to support my channel, you can like the lessons, subscribe to the channel, make comments, share the lessons. All of those things help promote the channel. And I'm happy, as I say this in every lesson, but I'm always happy to answer questions or help you if you have questions. I have availability to teach via Zoom lessons. If you're interested, just send me an email at writingsandlessons@gmail.com. I'm happy to talk with you about a one-time lesson or weekly, bi-weekly lessons, whatever works with your schedule. So thanks for listening, have fun practicing, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.